Eli Manning was an Iron Man, so you got to stay healthy. That's not a given. In fact, it's a given you probably won't stay healthy. The question is, how healthy can he stay, and can he get over his fumbling issues? Like, he has an issue that's a correctable issue, but doesn't necessarily mean it will be corrected. He's more talented than Eli. I think Eli would concede that. He can make all the throws. He's mobile. He thinks the game quickly for a rookie. You could see that, or a first-year starter. He's been mentored by Eli. I think he has the potential to be, at the very least, it's like when we compared careers. Even if I think Eli had a greater career than Roethlisberger, peak value Roethlisberger had more great seasons than Eli, right? I think Daniel Jones, at the very least, is capable of being ranked higher in among quarterbacks of his era on a year-in and year-out basis than Eli was. And I think he can have, maybe not ultimate Super Bowl success. It's hard to win two Super Bowls, but he can be a perennial playoff powerhouse, a quarterback of that kind of team.
Well, Eli Manning is retiring, supposedly, according to the news. He's retiring tomorrow. Mm-hmm. When he retires tomorrow, we're going to hear tributes from Max Kellerman and Molly Qerim and others about the greatness of Eli Manning, who is a two-time Super Bowl champion and Super Bowl MVP. If we're not talking about that with Daniel Jones, well, damn it, you ain't filling no shoes. It's very, very logical to me. And that's the way I look at Daniel Jones, because to me, that's the standard. When you succeed a Super Bowl champion, are you going to get yours? When Aaron Rodgers arrived in Green Bay as the man, the reason why we were ultimately able to talk about him being that bad man that he is because he delivered a Super Bowl championship in 2010 after Brett Favre had done it in the 90s. If Aaron Rodgers was still looking for a Super Bowl championship, we wouldn't have talked about him the way that we talked about him, because we said, yo, the person that you succeeded, you didn't get done. When we talk about Big Ben Roethlisberger, we think about Terry Bradshaw, okay? You don't have to think about Tom Brady as of his own, because the Steve Grogans of the world, the Drew Bledsoes and others didn't deliver the goods. When you look at Dak Prescott, or when you looked at Tony Romo, why? Because of Roger Staubach winning Super Bowls. That's why when you play for a franchise that knows what it's like to win a Super Bowl, if you are the quarterback, the standard is a championship. Can Daniel Jones do that? I think he has the talent, but not if he's fumbling the damn football. And so we got to look at it from that perspective.
So you brought up Aaron Rodgers, and it was different. I feel like Brett Favre's shoes were still kind of big at that point.
Yeah.
It feels like Eli Manning's shoes have shrunk. If you're saying that he has to, over the course of his career, he has to win a couple Super Bowls, you're right.
At least win one.
Or at least win one.
Right.
You're right. It's more likely that he won't, and he won't fill those shoes. But the shoes that he's filling right now, I think he's already done that. He stepped in for Eli, and he's already provided a better alternative than what they had there. But I highly doubt he's going to have the career that Eli had. As good as he is, you have to be relying on so many people around you to have that career that Eli had for Daniel Jones to have the same career. And I have no inclination that the front office that they have now, or that they will find a front office that will be able to support him in that way, find a defense and receivers.
Actually, I don't think Eli was supported so great by the Giants all the time. He had a great defense a couple of times,
and
he made the most of it.
Right.
And but there's a good chance that Daniel Jones winds up with better teams than Eli.
There's a chance.
And he's more talented.
But the reason why Eli is a Hall of Famer is because of those two Super Bowl runs, and frankly, those two Super Bowl games. So those were a result of those D lines mostly, right? That was the big strength of those teams. And I can't predict that Daniel Jones is going to get something like that. And I don't think that
Eli along the way outplayed Tony Romo, Matt Ryan, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and Tom Brady twice.
He deserves credit for that, but those guys were going up against that D-line.
But
it's so
sure,
hard.
But he was also, like, when he faced San Francisco and Alex Smith, that D-line was ferocious, Eli,
I'm not trying to take anything away from Eli. The point I'm making is it's not all on Eli.
Let me go to the comparison, okay? Joe Montana to Steve Young. Did Steve Young fill Joe Montana's shoes? He won 1. Montana won 4. I think he did. I think he did. He only won 1, but I think he did. Did Aaron Rodgers fill? But in that case, you went down a little. Even if Steve Young was more of a talent. In Aaron Rodgers' case from Brett Favre, you went up a little, but he still filled his shoes. Hold on. Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck. You're not gonna be as great as Peyton Manning, but they did a damn good job filling Peyton Manning's shoes with Andrew Luck.
But what you're talking about is a talent,
and they never won.
What you're talking about is a talent that doesn't deserve to be denigrated or disrespected. They deserve to be appreciated for their own contribution. That is entirely different than, did you measure up to this guy? And Andrew Luck wasn't never perceived as Peyton Manning.
Right.
And so what I'm saying to you is that never. Never.
No, but
never.
He
was a great talent.
As a college player, some people thought this guy could be the best ever. Like he's an amazing prospect.
But he came into the league, and while you respected him and knew what the coach would be, could potentially be with him, you recognize the fact that there was levels to this, and he wasn't Peyton Manning. What I'm saying to you about Daniel Jones is you can make the argument because in the end, it goes back to what I'm saying. If we're going by what I'm saying, Eli Manning is 117 and 117, a 500 quarterback with 2 Super Bowl
Daniel Jones can do that.
Okay, did Daniel Jones potentially pull that off? That's fine.
MVPs.
But I question whether or not the defense deserved that instead of him. But that's neither here nor there. But if you're talking about a 2-time Super Bowl champion,
what if he does this? What if Daniel Jones does this? He plays for 12 or 13 years as a starter. I mean, this is assuming a lot of health and everything. He's mostly healthy. He makes some Pro Bowls. He makes the playoffs more often than he doesn't, or at a greater percentage of seasons than Eli Manning. He never wins a Super Bowl. He gets to a couple NFC championship games. Did he fill Eli's shoes?
No, not by Stephen A's definition.
But I think he did. I think that is filling his shoes.
I think that is being a good succession plan, and that's being a good replacement. But it's not filling his shoes. But filling his shoes is at least bringing one Super Bowl. It's bringing some comparable level of success. Will be filling his shoes.
Max, you can answer that question even better than Dominique. Here's the question: you're a native New Yorker, just like me. If 10 years from now, Daniel Jones has been the starting quarterback for the New York Giants, even if they're a perennial playoff contender, but they never go to the Super Bowl, is New York going to talk about him the way they talk about Eli Manning?
Hold on. I'll say this. I understand, but I'll say this. There are players in New York who come along and you realize it's not their fault. If you see that it's Daniel Jones crumbling, like Don Mattingly or someone, if you see it's Daniel Jones crumbling under pressure, then the answer is no. But if Jones is a stud, the teams around him aren't good enough, we won't blame Daniel Jones.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.